All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, we got a pretty chill, lighthearted video of 4 new cards we're going to be going over. That's right, they have released 4 new promo cards of the 4 Emperors we got to check out in today's video. So without any further ado, let's just hop straight into this, guys. We got quite a bit to talk about, some pretty interesting, cool-looking new cards here. So I will have everything timestamped in the general description. Excuse me, and I'll have all relevant links and stuff like that in the comments section below. If you guys have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please do not hesitate to put those down in the comments section below, or hop on the VV Theory Discord. Link will be in the channel description. Today's video is sponsored by Nin Garden. Their summer kickoff sale is live, and they are offering 10 to 60% discounts across the entire store. So be sure to check that out, and don't forget to use my code, the VV Theory, at the checkout for an additional 5% off. Now, let's do this, guys. Let's get right into it. First up, we have Shanks. This is a 10 cost, 12,000 power, 4 Emperors character, and also Red Hair Pirates type. And that's pretty much true across the board, guys, so get used to me saying that. These are all going to be 10 cost, 12,000 power, and 4 Emperors for the type, and then whatever their respective type is with their, with their character and their color. So here we go. The effect on Shanks is on play, when attacking, your opponent cannot activate blocker this turn. So, I will say, like, okay, just judging this card in a vacuum and not in the current game, it is a fine card. The card is fine. Excuse me. Like, this is a solid card. The effect is fine. There's nothing bad about the effect. But is it doing enough for us to want to run this card? Like, for example, we already have access to 2 very, very powerful Shanks 10 drops in the game currently. So we have the 10 cost 12k Shanks that KOs a 10,000 power or lower character, which is going to be very, very strong into blue-purple Luffy, right? Like, that's going to really help the blue-purple Luffy matchup. Then we have the other 10 cost 12,000 power Shanks that has Rush, and, it just has a blanket effect of minus 1,000 power to the entire opponent's side of the board for all their characters. And which of those Shanks would you replace this with? That's my question, is like, I don't think I would replace those other 2 Shanks with this character. Hopefully that made sense. I know that was a little clumsy. Hopefully you guys understand what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say that I would not replace those other 2 Shanks with this Shanks. And then if you think about it, we already have access to a very similar effect like this with like the 10 cost Goldie Roger, where that card is a 10 cost 13k Rush card. Notice this card does not have Rush, guys. Goldie Roger is a 10 cost 13k with Rush that says if you or your opponent has 0 life, they can't activate blocker or they lose the game. So we already kind of have access to a card like that has Rush as well. So while I do think this is still a solid card, again, like judging like the effect and the stat line in a vacuum, it's pretty good. But how practical is it going to be to fit this card in the current version of Shanks? Or even to build a new version of Shanks around this card? Will it be worth it? Because this effect doesn't really impact the board. It kind of, in my personal opinion, it kind of works as more of like a win more card, because think of it like this, guys. Let's just assume a board state. We have a pretty decent board state. Let's say we curved out very well as Shanks. Say we went going second, so going straight to 10 Dawn on turn 5. So turn 1, Searcher, pass. Turn 2, Lucky Roo. Turn 3, Yasop. Turn 4, let's even go Rayleigh. I was going to say Ben Beckman, but let's just even go like perfect curve, going straight into Rayleigh or Dragon if you like to be more aggressive. Into turn 5, this card, well, it kind of actually slows us down, but I will say this, if it sticks on the board, next turn will be a nightmare for our opponent, because not only did we get all those attacks through, and we survive in the next turn somehow, okay, if that happens where this card sticks on the board and we survive in the next turn, that's going to be a wrap. There's no way they're going to be able to stop this attack and our leader, because we could just swing for like 12 and 15 at that point, or 13 and 14, whatever we choose to do. But still a very solid card here. Like, again, I want to say, like, in a vacuum, this is a strong card, and you can build around it. But in that same situation we just explained, or I was just explaining, what blocker do they have on the board we're worrying about that we can't already deal with something like a Ben Beckman, right? Because Beckman can just trash a blocker. And say they're running, the 8 cost Katakuri. The new 8 cost purple blocker Katakuri, well, we can just run Divine Departure in the place of that, or we can run the 10 cost 12k Shanks that KOs a 10,000 power or lower character. So again, It's not that I don't like this card, so please don't misunderstand me, guys. I think it's a solid card, but I just don't think it will quite fit into what Shanks is trying to do right now. We'd have to build an entire deck around it, and if we do that, will it be better than the current version of Shanks we're already messing with? Who knows? We'll have to see. You guys tell me what y'all think about this one in the comments section below, but just to kind of give my final thoughts on it, I think it's a solid card, but I don't know how well it's going to fit into the current version of Shanks, or if we even need something like this when we already had access to something like Gold D. Roger and all the other really powerful 10-cost 12k Shanks, that we already have access to. Okay, next up we have Buggy. Excuse me. So like I said, guys, these are all going to be 10-cost 12ks with the 4 Emperors type, and then this one, Buggy, of course, has Cross Guild as its type as well. And this is a 10-cost 12k blocker with on play, if you don't have 5 characters with a cost of 5 or more, send this character to the bottom of your deck. So I'm not a huge fan of this. We already have access. Again, this is going to be, hopefully I don't sound like a broken record in this video, but I feel like we already have access to a better card than this as well in the game with the 10-cost 12k standard Buggy that bottom decks a character. Because think about it. It's, okay, I will say this. I'm going to judge the card in a vacuum, but a lot of the things I'm trying to, when I'm looking at these cards and making like an analysis of them, I'm trying to compare and contrast them to like how they'll work in the meta and with all the cards that are available. How will it impact, the deck you put it into? And the biggest factor for that is how does this card impact the board? And for example, with the 10-cost 12k Buggy, they're both 10-cost 12k. With the standard version, the regular version of Buggy that we have access to, if you play that card out with your leader's effect for 5, you're bottom decking a character. So even if you don't have 5 characters on the board that cost 5 or more, where it has to go to the bottom of your deck, okay, no problem. You just, trashed, you used your leader effect and trashed a card, and you just had a red rock effect to just bottom deck one of their characters. Okay, that's an immediate impact on the board, and it deals with any threat in the game. At least any effect that can be dealt with, right? That doesn't have, like, effect negation or whatever. This Buggy, you don't get that luxury. Like, if you don't have 5 cards on the board, you just have to say goodbye to this card. Like, this is, and it's a brick in hand. It has no counter or anything like that. So that does kind of concern me. Now, in a vacuum, sure, this is a 10-cost 12k with blocker. It's always nice to have access to massive blockers that are probably going to stick around. It is really hard to deal with a 10-cost 12k blocker, guys. There's not a lot of answers in the game for that. But there's no benefit of having this in your hand early on like the other Buggy does have, because that card can just bottom deck targets, whereas this card, if you don't have 5 or more characters on the board when you play that, or 5 characters on the board that have a cost of 5 or more, yeah, this card is just going to the bottom of your deck, and it did absolutely nothing. And it has no kind of special, it has no counter power, so there's nothing really we can do with it in our hand. I almost wish, guys, hear me out. I think, what would y'all think of this? Is this too crazy? I almost wish they had made this into a 10-cost 11k with a 1k counter, and then the effect that it has right there. Or maybe even a 10-cost 10k with a 2k counter that has the effect it has right there. Maybe that would have been too strong, too high utility. I don't know. Y'all tell me. But again, I'm just trying to come up with some ideas here. As is, I'm not a huge fan of this card. Now, I will say this. Against Blackbeard, this card it adds more fuel to the nightmare, right? It adds even more fuel to the total nightmare that matchup is for Blackbeard. Because Blackbeard's main effect is completely negated, for the most part, by Buggy, by the leader Buggy, because if they use their leader's effect when you have 5 or more Dawn, where you can use your leader's where you can use Buggy's leader effect. Okay, oh, you're gonna turn off my on plays? No problem. I'll slam down a 10-cost 12k with a blocker for 5 Dawn. Trash a card, pay 5. Here's a 10-cost 12k blocker that we paid 5 for. That seems insane. Or with the other, the standard Buggy, we slam that down, and we've got a 10-cost 12k bruiser on the board for probably the rest of the game. So, yes, there are some upsides to having cards like this in the deck, but again, I have to ask the same question, or at least be in the same, line of thought as I had with Shanks here. These are both very solid cards, but are we going to be able to find room for them in the current versions of their respective decks? And I think the answer is no. To be honest, guys, I don't think this Shanks will make it into standard decks. We'll have to see. Again, tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. And in the same way, I think the same thing about Buggy. Because, okay, I would actually, and this is just me, guys, I have piloted Buggy before, and I actually do enjoy that deck quite a bit. I think it's a solid deck. but I would actually just rather have access to my 6-cost 7k blocker Mihawk that has a draw 2 trash 1 built into it, where it just has immediate effect and I can cheat it off the 7-cost Buggy. It has more value for my deck. It has like more, maybe not more value, but I think more value because of the cycling, but it has like a larger impact on the board the turn that I play it right away. So yeah, I think I would just rather have like a lower cost, more consistent blocker. Something like even Ace, even the 5-cost 6k Ace that has a draw 2 and then put 2 on the top and bottom of your deck in any order. Something like that where it's like, okay, I can just play that out for 5 without trashing a card from hand and fix my hand and go from there. Whereas this Buggy, it seems like it's a little bit overboard for what we're trying to do with that deck. At least from my limited experience with playing Buggy, I feel like this isn't something I want in the deck. Maybe as a 1 or 2 of, maybe so we can have like 5 10-cost 12k Buggies all together, but I would much rather have the other Buggy, the 10-cost 12k that bottom decks a character on play over this one. But still a solid card, not trying to get anyone's hopes up. If, I know a lot of people are super, a lot of people really love certain characters in One Piece. I know Buggy has quite the following. And I get it, man. I mean, first of all, this is a really cool looking art. So maybe you just run one of these no matter what. Because I will say this, having 5 of the 10-cost Buggy in your deck over just 4 seems good to me. So that way you can run 4 of the bottom deck Buggy and then 1 of the blocker, and it's going to be easier to find these huge characters to punish your opponent with later in the game. Good stuff here. Tell me what y'all think in the comments section below. Okay, next up we have Luffy. We have let's check out the art real quick on this one. Very cool. We got Gear 5 Luffy here. Check out his arm wrapped around the whole entire arena back here. Very cool looking. You got the moon just like shining down on him. Or is that the sun in the background? It looks like the moon to me. Either way, it looks really, really cool. And got the clouds just completely silhouetting the back of his head there. It just looks great. Really good stuff here. Let's see what the effect is. 10 cost 12k for Emperors, of course, and this one is Straw Hat Crew. It is purple. When attacking, Dawn -10, set this character as active. Okay. Not a once per turn effect, by the way. Not a once per turn effect. So who knows? Maybe we can, in purple black Luffy, maybe we can have like, okay, so play this card, let's just say we have a, Eustace Kid on the board from previous turns and he survived. He's doing just fine, guys. He's doing completely fine. Okay, and then say we we play out this Luffy, and then next turn we go. Now remember this is a Dawn -10, so we can use up our Dawn for the entire turn. So let's say on our next turn after we play this card out, and let's say we're playing purple black Luffy for this example. Okay, let's play out Black Maria and double Pudding, right? The 3-cost Charlotte Pudding, and let's just attack 3 times with this card. Will we be able to do that? Hang on, guys. We got to bring that up right now. We got to bring up Black Maria. Because I think you can only have 1 Black Maria on the board at a time, right? Yeah, if you have no other Black Maria, add up to 5 Dawn cards. Okay. All right, so here we go. Let's go back to the example here. So let's just say again, like say we had a 5-cost, on turn 3, we established a 5-cost 6,000 power Eustace Kid blocker, and he just sits around for the whole game. Let's just use that for this example, right? But then we get to our 10 Dawn turn, and we play this down, pass the turn, and if this card survives, they are in large, copious amounts of trouble, guys, because imagine what you're going to be able to do at that point. Again, let's use purple black Luffy for this example. Okay, for our turn, let's play out the 3-cost Black Maria. Let's play out the 2 3-cost Puddings, and we still have the Eustace Kid on the board. Okay, you guys see where we're going with this, right? Okay, swing 12 when attacking. Let's stand him up by returning all 10 of our Dawn. Okay, when we did that, when we returned those 10 Dawn, we got 2 back with our leader. We got 3 back with our other guys, and then we're going to be able to use Black Maria to get the other 5 back, and then swing again, Dawn -10, and then we'll swing again. I know that's like a magical Christmas land example, but I'm just saying it'd be very fun. It'd be very cool to use that. Yeah, check it out, guys. When attacking, Dawn -10, set this character as active. Now, this is a pretty cool card here. It is a when attacking Dawn -10, and one thing I will say, so far I think this is the one that I like the best out of all the ones we've seen out of the Buggy and the Shanks. And now the Luffy. I think the Luffy is the one I like the best so far. Because one of the biggest problems about playing out the 10-cost Time Warp Luffy is you lose your entire board, which is really, really unfortunate, right? It's not the worst case scenario because you are getting an extra turn, and that's 1 mini games for people, right? But still, it depends on how you're building your deck, where it's like, okay, I'm going to have to lose all my characters on the board. I really don't want to do that if I don't have to. Well, now we have another option, and I actually kind of like this option better because, okay, let's not even do like a magical Christmas land example. Let's just say we play this card out on our 10 Dawn turn and we pass the turn and say, you know, say go. Okay, next turn, if we survived and yeah, the board state's fine and we can do what we want to, it's going to get really bad for our opponent. And let's use the purple-black Luffy example again. So if we, for our turn, so we can use all 10 of our Dawn first and then use this effect. So let's just say with 3 of that Dawn, we do play out a Black Maria. And watch what we can do. Let's just swing in for 12, you know, and then Dawn minus 10 after we played out our entire turn and swung with whatever we had to and all that. We'll do Dawn minus 10. And with purple-black Luffy, we'll get 2 Dawn back from that effect. We have 1 Dawn open for a Gum Gum Giant. And then if we use our Black Maria, we go straight to 7 Dawn. Next turn we'll be on 9 Dawn. So if in that turn that we attacked, if we played out a Black Maria in just like a 5-cost 6K Eustace Kid or a 3-cost 4K Charlotte Pudding or some effect like that where we ramp a Dawn, when we return Dawn, sorry guys, struggling there, then all of a sudden we can probably get back to 10 Dawn on the next turn just by playing out a Black Maria for the turn and like a 3-cost Pudding or a 5-cost 6K Eustace Kid. And hey, I know that might seem like a little bit much, but is it really? Like, you're going to keep 2K counters in your hand to the best of your ability throughout the game. I think there could be something there. I think this is a really cool card. So yeah, what else? I just want to say that out of all the 3, that's what I was saying, is this card I think is the best one so far as practicality goes for the game. Now again, when you play this card down, you're not impacting the board. So whenever you're able to play out a card that does not impact the board state, sometimes that card can feel more like a win more card. But in the case of Luffy here, we're probably, you know, this is in purple. So we're going to ramp to this card as fast as we can, maybe even turn 4 with certain decks. And then after that, we can just start pummeling people. And this card is not leader locked either. Starting to think maybe a purple-yellow Nico Robin deck could be pretty cool with something like this. Who knows? Start bashing into them because their hand count's going to be low anyway because you're swinging in for a banish every turn. Could be something there, guys. Something to explore. We'll have to see. Maybe even purple-yellow Pudding. You know, purple-yellow Pudding might have something to say about it. We'll have to see. If you guys have any other cool ideas, please say something in the comment section below. But so far, this one seemed the most practical to me, especially with being in purple. Maybe, you know, you'll almost play this down as like a pseudo 8-drop in certain situations. You know what I mean? An 8 or a 9 drop because you can ramp Dawn. Whereas like the Buggy here, there's a condition for it to even stick on the board. And otherwise, you can't really do anything with it. And then with the Shanks, I think we just have better options. In the case of Monkey D. Luffy, some people might argue that we do have better options in the 10-cost 12K Time Warp Luffy. I don't know if that's 100% true or not, because I might not want to lose my board. You know what I mean? If I'm curving out and I get down like an 8-drop, some type of 7, 8, or 9 drop that I want to stick on the board, then all of a sudden, I kind of like this card better. And I'm trying to think, even maybe in something like Red Purple Luffy, if we go, let's say we play out the Eustace Kid the turn before, and then let's just say that's on our 8 Dawn turn, right? So when we go to 8 Dawn, we'll play out the Eustace Kid, and then we will and go down to 7 Dawn. Hang on. I think with let me see something on. Did we get the Dawn at 8 or at 7 for Luffy? I just want to check something real quick. If you have 8 or more Dawn, okay, so that's fine. I was gonna say if we could somehow do it at 7 Dawn, that would have been crazy with that effect, but I had it backwards. I don't know what I was trying to do there. I was going to say, even if we get to 9 Dawn and ramp 1 for our leader effect, we actually would still be fine to use this effect because we're not trying to do Dawn minus 10 on that turn. But hear me out, guys. What we could do here is, like, let's just say on an 8 Dawn turn, we ramp up to 9 Dawn, we play out the 7-cost Eustace Kid. Now our leader's a 7,000 power character. We go down to, so we were at 8, we went to 9, we go back down to 8. Next turn we'll be on 10 Dawn. We can slam down this character, swing in for 7 with our Eustace Kid. Our leader's back to 7, and now we can add a Dawn back. We're sitting on a Gum Gum Giant, and next turn, our opponent is going to be in big trouble. Just one possibility. I think this is a pretty cool card, though. All things considered, I think this is a pretty solid card. It's my favorite one so far out of the 3 we've seen. Okay? All right, y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. Now, moving up, we got one more to go over. We got Marshall D. Teacher. Let's check out this art. Very cool. Man, that is awesome. The lighting is really good on this one. Like, notice the source of light is, of course, this move he's using here. And it's lighting up that side of his face, but the other side is still dark. And it's just, you know, it looks really good. Okay, we get the sock reveal down here. Very nice. Those are very cool. Got some white and purple socks there, you know, striped. Very nice. Love the purple and black. It's almost like a purple and black version of Conqueror's Hockey. I don't know if it has something to do with like his dark fruit and the Quake fruit or whatever it is. It could have something to do with that. I'm not exactly sure, but this does look really cool with the purple and black version of like what looks like to be Conqueror's Hockey versus the red and black that we see with like Shanks. I just think that's really cool looking. Okay. All right, so Marshall D. Teach, we got another 10 cost 12k 4 Emperors character with Blackbeard Pirates this time. When attacking, all of your opponent's leaders and characters' effects are negated this turn. So here we go again. It does seem like this. I will say with all of these cards, they almost all seem like a light version of the SR version of the card that's already in the game. Like, for example, going back to Shanks here, this is an on-play when attacking, your opponent cannot activate blockers this turn. This seems like a light version of the 10-cost Goldie Roger, or even a 10-cost, I mean, it's not the same, I guess, but the other 10-cost 12k Shanks. Either one of them, like KOing a blocker with the KO Shanks, or just bashing through one with the Rush Shanks. This Buggy seems like a light version of the, I'm just going to call it the Red Rock version of Buggy. And then for Luffy, this seems like a light version of the Time Warp version of Luffy. And this one, of course, is a light version of the Blocker 10 cost 12k for Marshall D. Teach. It's always nice to have options. Let me say that right now. But I don't think any of these cards we saw today, including this one, I don't think they're as good as the ones we already have access to, because those have such a higher impact on the board on the turn in which they are played. Like this card right here is this. Remember, guys, this is a when attacking. So if they red rocket, you just spent 10 Dawn to not do anything, right? Or if they're running, some type of black deck with removal, I don't know, whatever it might be. And I understand people are gonna say, yeah, but you can activate, your leader effect. They can't do on plays. Okay, but they still can find ways to get rid of this, right? I'm just saying there are options there, especially for blue with Red Rock. Green could probably have some possibilities too. Maybe you can just play out a Straw Sword and attack into it. I don't know. There's got to be something to deal with all these. But long story short, I'm not a huge fan of this character either. It's a when attacking effect, and it's all your opponent's leaders and characters' effects are negated this turn. So we can already turn off that with the other 10 cost 12k Teach, right? So when we play out the 10 cost 12k Teach, we can go, okay, your leader's effect is turned off, and now your character on the board loses their effect for the turn, their effects for the turn, and they can't even attack next turn. So I just feel like that's a better effect, and we get to activate main to do it, and we get a 10 cost 12k blocker on the back end of that. Who knows? This is still a very cool card. It could see some play for anyone who just wants to run it. But overall, I do think this is kind of just a lesser version of what we already have in Marshall D. Teach. And I know people are going to say, but if you do get that when attacking off, it's going to be crazy. I agree. If you get the when attacking effect off with this character, it is going to be really, really good, right? All your opponent's leader and character effects are negated this turn. But again, how much better is that than the 10 cost 12k we already currently have access to? That just says right away, activate main, lock down your leader's effect, lock down that character's effect, and then they can't even attack next turn, and I have a 10 cost 12k blocker. I just feel like that's just overall just strictly better. But I know, people are going to say, this hits all of your opponent's characters. Yeah, but they can still all attack though too, right? See, that's the other problem, is even if you do get this card down and you attack with it one time, I can still attack with all my characters, And if people are thinking about comboing this, like, okay, but what if you lead off with this and then next turn play out the 10 cost 12k blocker Marshall D. Teach? Okay, sure, but now you're kind of in a win more situation where it's like, how were you able to pull all that off? How are you able to play out a 10 cost 12k that does not impact the board state, in a standard game of Magic, or in a standard game of One Piece? You guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. Not a bad card. Guys, don't misunderstand what I'm saying. It's not a bad card. I'm trying to figure out how we can work this into the current game state into standard. And against Blue Purple Luffy, if you take the time to play this one card out, I don't think it's going to go well for you. Same thing with Green Purple Luffy. Same thing with Bello Betty. If you're taking your entire turn to develop a 10 cost 12k card that does not impact the board state, again, it doesn't do it, guys. That's a win attacking effect. Then I'm not sure what to say. I'm not sure how it's going to be able to help out our game plan and how we're going to be able to work it into the deck. But on a more casual level, hey, this is a really cool card. And if you're just trying to fit as many Blackbeard cards as you can into one Blackbeard deck, this is going to be a really cool card to add to the list. And it seems like a pretty fun card, right? Because if it does stick, it's like, hey, man, you're about to have a bear on your hands here next turn. You're not going to be able to activate any effects or anything like that. And you're going to be able to go from there. And notice it says all your opponent's leaders and characters' effects are negated this turn. So if you think about it, it really just kind of gives your guys unblockable. Because there's not a lot of when opponents attack effects in the game. There are some. There are some, but there's not a ton of them in the game currently. But hey, I mean, this would like shut down like a Bonnie potentially, right? Because your when attacking effect will happen first before their on opponent's attack effect for their leader, right? So when they go to, you know, when you go to swing in with your Martial D Teach, you're going to be able to lock down the leaders and character effects for the turn, and now they don't get to return the favor with their on opponent's attack once per turn to lock down one of your characters. So hey, it's going to be pretty good into something like Jory Bonnie for sure, and you know, other decks that have some type of similar effect. But in general, I think we're going to be better off with the 10 cost 12k Teach we already have access to. Okay, again, tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. Please be respectful. If you disagree with me, that's fine. You know, just say, you know, say what you think down there. Tell me what you're thinking. And maybe I missed something, guys. I do miss things. I'm a normal human being just like everybody else, guys. So I miss things as well. Just please be nice. That's all I ask. Please be respectful. Okay, then last but not least, we do have this really cool new, I think this is the Chinese art, the 3rd anniversary One Piece Dawn card. And I believe someone said in the, oh, it says right here, Dawn card for the Chinese 3rd anniversary set. Very, very cool. I was going to say, someone said this in the chat when I was streaming, I think on Tuesday or Wednesday, or maybe it was Monday, I can't remember. But very cool looking Dawn here, where you got Kuma and a young Jory Bonnie, right? Very, very cool looking. And you got the Sakura, the cherry blossom petals everywhere. Beautiful card. Really, really nice looking Dawn card there. Awesome. Okay, so guys, just to kind of summarize, I am going to go back over these real quickly. I think they're all very good, being 10 cost 12k promo cards, you know, that, hey, who knows how we're going to... Guys, please say this in the comment section below. If you know when, how, where, whatever, like how we can get access to these cards and when they're going to come out and all that, please say something in the comment section below. Because I still want to get my hands on these cards just to add them to my collection. But as far as playability goes, as far as practicality goes, and like including them into current decks and in the current meta, it's going to be a little hard to justify running these. Maybe with this purple Luffy here in a Dawn ramp deck where we can slam down all of our, you know, if we can slam this character down like an entire turn earlier where it's harder for them to deal with it, and then we can start getting value back with Black Maria afterwards, this card might have some potential. And then same idea with this Buggy. If we can get down a ton of 5 cost characters super fast and slam down this Buggy, okay, not too bad, right? We can have this really massive blocker on our side of the board. Or if Martial D Teach starts running away with the format, for whatever reason, I'm not saying it will. I'm saying like if Martial D Teach gets carried away and it becomes a really tough deck to deal with in the format, well then you can add something like this into your Buggy deck and you get access to more 10 cost 12Ks you could cheat out if they choose to use their leader effect. Shanks, I will say this, guys, out of all of them, Shanks and the Martial D Teach are going to be the hardest cards for me to justify running in the current meta. But that's not to say, you know, we never know what's going to happen in the future, guys. If the format slows down big time and we have access to these bigger cards to be able to drop them down more, you know, safe in a safer way, and you know, to drop them down more safely, or however you'd say that, then these cards could really pop off later. But the two that I see being the most practical for the current meta is probably the 10 cost 12k blocker Buggy and the 10 cost 12k you know, non-Time Warp Gear 5 Luffy. I don't really see people fitting this Martial D Teach into their list or this Shanks. But you guys tell me what y'all think in the comments section below. Alright guys, that's it. That's all we got for today. Let me go and put the outro page up. Pretty short video for me, guys, by my standards. I mean, my videos usually run about twice this length, right? That's crazy. You guys are getting out of class early today. You guys are lucky. It's summer's coming up, right? That's right. Okay. Hope y'all enjoyed that, guys. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Guys, if you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, or anything like that, please don't hesitate to put those down in the comment section below. Guys, if you're supporting my channel, whether you're liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, viewing, or just using my TCG Player affiliate link, donating through Patreon or PayPal, the Playmat supporters, the YouTube members, the Discord community, however you're helping out, I really, really appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Thank you to each and every one of you. I really do appreciate it, guys. This community has been incredible so far. All right, I think that's about it. I'm sure there's something I missed. You know, that happens in all my videos where like I'll press stop recording and I'll like shoot, you know, I forgot to say this one thing, or dang it, I forgot to mention something. But I think that's it for now, guys. I'm gonna leave y'all with that. Hope y'all enjoyed. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, guys, peace.